Hey everybody, welcome to What the Flick. Alonso, Bibbs, Matt. Just released by the folks over at Disney Marvel is the trailer for next May's Avengers Age of Ultron. Let's take a look.
I'm gonna show you something beautiful. Everyone screaming for mercy. You want to protect the world, but you don't want it to change. You're all puppets, tangled in strings.
It's the end. The end of the path I started us on.
There are no strings on me.
Pulls this string! Pulls this string! Well, I was just thinking about how shameless the Disney self-promotion was in Alexander and the Terrible, Horrible, No Good, Very Bad Day, with the references to Peter Pan and Wreck-It Ralph, and really? Pinocchio now?
Well, Pinocchio, in all fairness.
It's very effective.
It's probably something they couldn't have done if they weren't a Disney.
Sure, no, I'm giving you a hard time. That's a very cool concept.
After hearing Electro call out Itsy Bitsy Spider and use his powers to play the song Itsy Bitsy Spider in Amazing Spider-Man 2, that's the one big red flag in this, is that we're going to have Ultron quote Pinocchio like this and maybe do a little dance. I don't know.
Yeah, you know what? I'll give Joss Whedon the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah, so will I.
The idea of taking Ultron and doing a Pinocchio-like story, gone terribly, terribly wrong.
Right.
I like that idea.
No,
I'm
totally.
curious, we saw none of Paul Bettany in this.
Yeah, I have a feeling that, well, I have two theories on that. One is that he's probably going to be like a late in the movie reveal, like we have our own Ultron, that kind of thing. But also you'll notice that when we see Ultron arrive in Avengers Tower and he's all puppety and weird and he destroys what looks kind of like a suit of armor. I had to go through this shot by shot for my website, Crave Online, so we went through this whole thing.
It looks like Iron Man armor.
It looks like Iron Man armor, but there's no room.
But there's a brain in it, right?
There's no room for a person in it. So maybe
it's
two theories.
Version.
It's an earlier version of Ultron or it's an earlier version of Vision or both. You know, and so that might be some tease we've seen. Also, Vision's probably going to be a complicated visual effect and maybe they haven't wrapped it around.
You know,
yet.
it's hard to look at the comics mythology and rack up too much, because as we've seen in movies across the board, they play fast and loose with the mythology.
We're getting an Ant-Man movie, but we're not getting a Henry Pym creating Ultron, so obviously that's already been juggled around.
They're going to play, but there's stuff in this trailer that for fans of the comics think it's worth. It's not getting excited about that. At least go, oh, I know what that is. Yeah. For example, my favorite shot, and I'd like to thank someone who pointed this out in the comments at Crave Online. I don't know your name, sorry, you had Avatar. But the random shot of ballerinas towards the end, I was like, well, that's just weird. I've forgotten that part of Black Widow's backstory is that she was a ballerina.
Right.
So we might actually find, because she's been this big question mark.
Because a Russian woman has to be a ballerina.
Of course. Well, it was Marvel in the 60s. What are you going to do? But no, but I like, she's been such a big question mark for this whole thing. We never really found out exactly where she's come from. We know she's got a dark past, but they've never actually told us what it is. And so we might actually learn more about that. I also like the shot of her sort of reaching out to the Hulk. And they might have more of a relationship. I don't know if it's romantic or not, but that gives them all something to work with. And I like that.
Given that in the 80 movies that just got mapped out for the next 5 years, not one of them has Scarlet Witch in or Black Widow in it.
Well, Marvel hasn't announced most of their upcoming movies.
That's true. They do have unknowns for early 2015.
DC has announced for the next 5 years. Marvel just has Guardians of the Galaxy 2, Avengers, Ant-Man, and Captain America 3.
And not to throw wet blanket on everybody's fury about the lack of a Scarlet Witch. I mean, it's
Black Widow.
Black Widow movie.
Sorry,
Scarlett Johansson. It's not as simple as just like, oh, let's write the script and make the movie. Scarlett Johansson has her career planned out. Right? It's not, you got to find time to make it happen. So that's going to complicate
Well,
things.
and also, like, you know, you have these people under contract for so many movies, and you want to be careful how many you use them in. You know, like, we only have so many left before we have to renegotiate Samuel L. Jackson's contract. Do we really need him in this movie? Maybe not. I'm not sure how much they've got, like, Scarlett Johansson for. I am sure she'd be down for it, though. She's doing a lot more action lately. She did Lucy. She just signed up to do Ghost in the Shell. I think a lot of people would pay to see that movie. I'd pay to see that movie. I love her in these.
Far more than, say, a Hawkeye movie or another Hulk movie. You know,
how somebody is scheduled out.
Sure, no. There's real world
She's
logistics in
scheduled
play.
out 2 or 3 years of film commitments.
Yeah.
That means 4 or 5 years before we get a Black Widow movie.
So ultimately, this is existing to get us excited. You know, 7 months early about
I do
this.
want to point out that it's a little weird that we saw the married couple from Godzilla playing brother and sister in this.
Oh, I know.
But like, there's always been this weird kinkiness to the Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch that they really played up in the Ultimates.
And there's only
in the Ultimates, there was actual
there's
romance
only
that was
5
weird.
working actors in Hollywood, so
Yeah.
of course you have
It's
to
gonna
cast
happen.
everybody in all the same roles.
It's going to happen
you know.
eventually. There was a soap opera I saw once where real life brother and sister actors had to pretend to be married in the show, and that was really, really
Didn't
funny.
they almost do that with the Justine Bateman on
feel like
Arrested
they-
Development?
I feel like they might have.
thought it would be funny, and then
I
they
feel like
didn't.
they might
or
have.
something.
Andy Serkis is in this, and what the
Yes.
hell?
Yeah, that was kind of a surprise,
Yeah.
I think, to a lot of people that he showed up in the trailer.
Yeah, a lot of people. We're used to if Andy Serkis is in a movie, it's either as a quick cameo, and then the rest of the time he's going to be motion capture.
Unless it's The Prestige.
Right, and so it's been brought up to me
Or
that
13 going on 30.
he has a very distinctive look in his one shot in this trailer. He's got like this chin strap but very thick beard, and someone pointed out to me that he looks just like Ulysses Klaue, the Marvel supervillain, before he became made of pure sound. Which also brings up the question of, and again, I'm getting really geeky here, but it's the internet, so bear with me.
On a What the Flick segment about the Age of Ultron trailer?
What? We see early on in the trailer, Ultron is like getting covered in like a molten substance. In the comics, Ultron is covered in adamantium, something that I don't think Marvel has the rights to, since the X-Men movies have it locked in with Wolverine's skeleton. So Captain America's shield is made of indestructible vibranium in this. I think we're going to see, vibranium become a major point, a plot point. Ulysses Klaue is a vibranium-based villain, and then maybe, because it's vibranium, maybe Black Panther.
Maybe.
So
Wouldn't that be cool?
So they
God,
get
that
to,
would be hard to keep
So
secret.
they get to have
I know.
Quicksilver, but they can't have adamantium.
Yeah, it's really
Okay.
confusing. Like, there's no one knows all the details. Like, I asked Kevin Feige once, I interviewed him, and I was just like, because they were doing Guardians of the Galaxy, and there's all this cosmic stuff you can do, but who owns the rights to everything? I know, like, Fox has Galactus and, like, Silver Surfer, but do you own, like, the Phalanx? Because technically,
Watcher?
Because technically, the Phalanx was started off as an X-Men villain, but then they became a Guardians of the Galaxy villain. Do you have them? And Kevin Feige's like, I don't know. And it was great.
Which is the right answer.
It's the right answer.
Anyway, my point
gonna be a long
is
time till
that this
May.
is designed to get us excited about a movie that is 7 months away. I'm officially excited.
I'm a little concerned about how dour this trailer is, and I feel it's got a Man of Steel tone. I'm sure it's going to be funny and everything once Joss Whedon gets to it. I just hope this isn't going to be the tone of the entire marketing campaign, because I think it'll turn me off
I
after a
think
while.
that when you have a seemingly invincible team like the Avengers, you have to introduce a
Gotta raise the stakes.
frightening enough villain. Exactly, you have to raise the stakes. You have to give them something to really that we have to worry that whether or not they're going to win, and that's what this trailer is selling.
And that's doing a good job.
Yeah.
That's doing a good job.
So we'll talk about the movie when it opens, but in the meantime, thanks for joining us for Trailer Talk.